Hi everyone, it's Wednesday, time for Wisdom Wednesday. Hope you all had a wonderful holiday weekend. And as we look forward to next weekend and the beginning of a new year, I thought maybe we would just go through kind of a little review of our year of wisdom and perhaps get a game plan for 2023. So throughout the year, we've spent a lot of time looking at diet, nutrition, areas including metabolism. What is metabolism? How can we improve our metabolism? Looking at all the essential macronutrients, proteins, fats, carbohydrates, including sugars, and the importance of getting good, adequate protein and collagen for our skin and our bones in terms of just generalized health. Other things that have to do with our diet are basically what we intake. Are we overfed and undernourished? Are we really eating foods that are nutrient dense and trying to stay away from processed foods? In terms of energy, are we getting those things in that are helping us create energy? I know right now we're seeing a lot of fatigue, a lot of patients coming in complaining of fatigue, and certainly this time of year is not uncommon after we've gotten through the holidays and we've had parties and we're still in the season. And with that comes more alcohol and poor eating choices, and therefore sleep is disrupted. And when sleep gets disrupted, we typically don't have as much REM or deep sleep. We don't get as many hours of sleep, so fatigue begins to set in. The stress of that then increases, which increases oxidative stress in the body, which then continues that domino effect of not being able to really make good choices throughout the days. And then our mood gets a little disturbed. We get a little more anxious. So it all can begin with just, believe it or not, diet, nutrition. If we could really fix that, a lot of things would fall into place. And we've talked a lot about that. We've talked about ways that we can really make better choices and how and when we choose to eat. We've talked a lot about intermittent fasting and time-restricted eating, trying to eliminate snacking and trying to eat earlier in the day and finish eating earlier in the day. We've talked about ways to address chronic stress with deep breathing and high-intensity interval training. We've talked about ways to optimize our brain health by doing work that continues to keep us focused and doing exercises for our brain, just like we would do exercises for our muscle. We've talked about aging. We talked a lot earlier in the year about anti-aging things that we can do, different supplements. There's resveratrol, NAD, nicotinamide mononucleotide, nicotinamide riboside. These are precursors to help raise NAD, which is that substance that is very important in the Krebs cycle that we all learned about years ago in biology and chemistry, that creates ATP, which is that currency of energy within the framework of a cell. But we know that our body too needs lots of muscle so that we have the ability to use that energy to produce work, so to speak. So covered a little bit about that in terms of brain health. We've talked an awful lot too about other substances, urolithin A, spermidine, glutathione, the master antioxidant. We've looked at testing that we can do here in the office, food sensitivity testing. If you have a lot of gut health and difficulty with either too sluggish a bowel or too active a bowel, how to try to help manage some of those things. We've looked at the testing that we can do for cancers, that GRAIL test or Gallery testing, and we've had quite a few patients. Thank goodness they've all been negative, but we are moving into an era where we're going to see rapid changes in availability of specialized testing and the ability to pick up things so much sooner, which is going to hopefully give us a better framework for managing chronic problems and long-term illnesses. as we age. So with all of the things that we've covered, I know that I've spent a lot of time this year looking at things down the road that I'm hopeful will become part of our everyday practice, using peptides and bioregulators, tiny little peptides that help signal the body to repair and to regenerate and help with this aging process as we go along. And so as we approach 2023, perhaps we could really come up with a great game plan. And I think it would be wise for all of us not only to look at just whatever other goals you have, but a health plan goal. And looking at health, we've got to look at all those pillars of health. We've got to look at diet, nutrition, we've got to look at exercise, look at sleep, look at our stress management, and look, of course, at hormones, which to me is a big part of all that. And within the framework of that, how to lower inflammation, how to help with detoxification, how to improve energy production. So I think that as we look at these things, setting goals and getting a game plan really is going to need to focus in on reducing the amount of just being overfed and too much energy coming in terms of calories, and really looking at how to get as much nutrient density and learning how to read labels and learning what it is that really causes insulin to be overactive and therefore increase our risk for insulin resistance. We've seen such amazing things happening using semaglutide, the peptide that's really taking the country by storm with weight loss, but there's so many other healthy things that it can do for us. And it's a shame that we have to rely on that, but it is a tool that we have in our toolbox now to really help. And for people who are using it, you may have weight loss goals that you have, and certainly getting there is great. But in the meantime, you want to be healthy and have good muscle, so you don't want to just lose muscle and fat. You want to just lose fat and maintain good muscle structure and muscle tone. For me, I want to definitely see a few things that I've been able to do in the past. I want to try to get back and do a lot more flexibility work, so I can get back and try and see if I can do some splits, which I used to be able to do very easily back in the day. So I'm going to work on personally some muscle toning. I think I want to work on my brain and maybe start taking some piano lessons again, doing more brain puzzles, doing some other things that are going to be beneficial for just keeping the networks of neurons in my brain going. I want to make sure that now that I have I have an Oura ring and I wear it nightly to make sure that I maintain good, healthy sleep, obviously keep the hormone program going, and do everything I can to eliminate stress. I'm reading this amazing book right now called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. And I think there's just some areas of that. It's a spiritual book, but it really helps with some priorities and really helping as we age, because we can just be full of so much busyness. And I am really devoting myself to getting off devices more and more, and it's not easy. And having a new grandbaby, I worry about all these devices with kids, but we have to be mindful of ourselves. We can all sit there and be on phones just mindlessly doing things. So I'm going to make an effort to try to stay off devices as much as just from the standpoint of just mindless doing nothingness on them, and try to focus more on positive things that will enhance either brain function or knowledge, rather than just mindless games and looking at silly social media type things. So hopefully we can come up with really good ideas, set some goals for health goals. If you have abnormal lipids or abnormal blood sugar type issues or insulin resistance, really making an effort to pull back and get those things under control. If you're not sleeping well, maybe see a sleep specialist, do some cognitive behavioral therapy that might help you sleep better and get good, deep, restful sleep, rejuvenative sleep. If you're not working out and all you're doing is walking, I suggest you look at ways to build and maintain muscle and flexibility, being able to get down on the floor and getting up, being able to get up from a chair. These are things that over time become more and more challenging. And people who really devote themselves to staying in that game are going to be way ahead as time goes on. So I hope you all have had a great weekend. We're all looking forward to the new year coming around the corner here. And I wish you luck getting through that and getting a good game plan set up, not only for whatever goals you have, other life goals you have, might through your work, through your profession, relationships, whatever they may be, but also really look at setting some health goals for yourself. And if you need any help from us, we're here. Please let us know. You all have a great day and Happy New Year.